and they were quickly disproved by the inquest. Witnesses testified that deputies had worked to exhaustion trying to get people out and to untangle the bodies in the stairwell. Oh my goodness, I have no idea where that yawn came from, guys. Excuse me. But the hatred and the mistrust was so deep that the rumors are still believed by many to this day. Officially, the inquest jury never did place blame. The stampede was caused by some person or persons unknown to the jury at this time, raising the alarm of fire within the hall. Read their formal verdict on January 2nd, 1914. Even though the inquest jury did not mention the Citizens Alliance, they basically exonerated it from any responsibility. They said that the only persons producing a union card or being vouched for by a union member were allowed into the party. However, there just wasn't any testimony during the inquest stating anything otherwise. The union cards were checked carefully at the start of the party, sure, but latecomers reported that the crowd was so great and there was so much confusion that they went right in without showing any identification. Even patrons from the saloon below the hall testified that they walked up the stairs to look at the party without ever being challenged. But all that was moot by then. The grief that enveloped the country numbed even the sense of outrage. After that, there didn't seem to be much left to strike for. When they buried the 74 victims of the Italian Hall disaster, Calumet started to die. The will of the miners was as broken as their spirits, and so was the Union. On Sunday, April 13, the strike officially ended when the miners voted 3,104 to 1,636 to return to work. The next morning, hundreds of them turned in their union card at the mine entrances. Almost overnight, the union pulled up stakes and left town, heading to new organiz- heading to new organizing fields in Ohio and Pennsylvania. In 1916, the Western Federation, plagued by dwindling membership and eager to distance itself from the tragic violence of Calumet, changed its name to the International Union of Mine, Mill, and Smelter Workers. But never again did it become a significant labor force, and in 1967 it was absorbed by the United Steelworkers. For many of the strikers left behind in Calumet, when the strike fizzled out in the spring of 1914, returning to the mines would have been an act of personal treason. Trainloads began leaving the copper country, heading to the industrialized cities of Detroit, Cleveland, and Chicago. And by mid 1914, when Henry Ford introduced the $5 a day wage, as many as 850 people were leaving Calumet each week. The old Italian hall itself was razed in 1984, and the village park at the site was designed a few years later. The two lots on either side are owned by the NPS's Keweenaw National Historical Park, which helps the village with maintenance and interpretive work. There have been improvements made over the years. A wayfinding plaque about the Italian Hall disaster tells visitors the basic story, and the old hall's sandstone and brick arches stand at the site as a silent marker to the 74 deaths. Plantings and benches make it a contemplative spot. A 10-foot tall memorial was installed at the park carrying the name of each and every victim. While I was researching, I found out, oddly enough, that on Friday, May 22nd, 2021, a fire was reported in the 100 block of 5th Street. 12 local fire departments ended up responding to this fire. It was the Ah Meek Village Fire, the Boot Jack Fire, the Calumet Township Fire, Calumet Village Fire, the Dollar Bay Fire, Hancock Fire, Houghton Fire, Hubel Fire, Lake Linden Fire, Lorien Fire, Quincy Franklin Hancock Township Fire, and Tamarack City Fire. Is that a lot of fire departments? I don't know. Like that's it. It's insane to me to think that 12 fire departments responded to this call. Is that normal? Do they typically drive out in droves like that? Well, regardless, the buildings from 108 to 125th Street collapsed during the fire and were considered a total loss. Over 30 people lost their homes, as many of those buildings had apartments above them, and the cause of the fire is unknown. Anyway, guys, I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. And you can follow my page at True Crime Spirits. Follow me on Twitter at Crime Spirits. Check out my Instagram at Bumbazzled. Or shoot me an email at truecrimespirits@gmail.com. You can now follow my website at brandystruecrimeparadise.com. You can find my podcast on most platforms. So if you like what you heard, like and subscribe. Leave me a review. I'd love to hear from you guys. So stay safe out there and good night. Intro and outro. Marginin